Here's another video on Startuts.
Hello guys, welcome to this video, and in this video we are going to learn about making an enemy in Unity. Before I start, please be sure to like and subscribe and click on the notification bell so you will not miss the next one. And with that said, let's go. Alright, so to move an enemy, we are going to use the NAVMESH component which was made by Unity. If you want to download that, the link will be in the description. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make a new game object, and I'm going to call that enemy. So in hierarchy tab, I'm going to right click and then go to create. Also, I'm going to go to the 3D object, then to capsule, and you see that a new capsule game object will show right now. So you can see here, I'll rename that to enemy, and this is going to be an enemy player. So I am going to make a new material like we did in the getting started video. You can check that out. And so I'm going to go to the materials folder, and then you can see this gun mat that I added here. I'm just going to use it for the enemy too, since I want the enemy to be black. You can add with any other type of material you can choose. So I'm going to move it to my enemy. Right now you can see that the color has changed. So if you try to look around, you see everywhere is black, and with our enemy. So I'm just going to use the move tool and move that backwards right now. I want to place it down, and I click on F to focus, and you can see it's okay, but let me move it down a little bit. All right, so next I want to right click with the enemy game object selected, and I will go to 3D object and click on the cube right here, and you see the cube pops up. And then I'm going to take it up and reduce the scale of it. So I'm just going to change it to something like 0.5 to on the x-axis, 0.5 on the y-axis, and 0.5 on the z-axis. So to give it a smaller look. So let me reduce the size. Let me zoom out right now. And the reason why it is there, I will tell you guys later in this video. So let's continue. All right. So in every game, so in the enemy game object, I will click on the add component, and I'll add the nav mesh agent, which is in the nav mesh component file, which you can see here, and I set up in my file. So the nav mesh component is here. So in my enemy script, I'm going to click on the add component and right there the nav mesh agents. You can see it right here. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to set the agent type to human, but all of the numbers is okay the way it is. And now I'm going to make another game object. So right click in the hierarchy tab without it being selected on anything. Go to the create empty and then rename that to our enemy manager. And then in the enemy manager script, I'm going to move it up and so that we can just see it. And the add component, I'll put the nav mesh surface. So this is just going to be like a plane, a ground, the place that is the control unit of the nav mesh we are going to do. So I'll just click on bake, and you see that I'm going to bake now. And after some time, you see a green, or sorry, blue surface surrounding level that's covered everywhere. This is going to be the place where our enemy can walk around. So that's just it. All right, so we are going to make a script which we'll use to make our enemy to follow the player. So let's do that. So in our enemy game object clicked or selected, go to add component, and then in that add component we are going to make a new script which we will call enemy enemy movement. So I'm going to write enemy movement and then new script, which I'll click on, and I also have to click on add here in Visual Studio. So in no function, I'm going to write there a public. I'm going to remove the start command right here, and I'm going to write a public. And then I'm going to write there also NAVMESH agent, just like we saw there. And you see that Unity has not identified it. All we have to do is just here I'm going to write using Unity engine.ai, which is in charge of all the nav mesh features. And you see here that the NAVMESH agent is not showing anything. You can see that Unity engine.ai.navmesh agent covers it. So I'm going to call it agent, and I'm going to remove the start function, and then in the update function I'm going to write agent.set destination, as you can see there, and I'll put a bracket, and inside that bracket I'll write player. Before we do that, so we're going to make a new variable which we are going to write there public transform, and that will be our player. So back to the object function. So inside the set destination, the border, or sorry, the bracket. Inside the bracket, I want to write there player dot transform dot position. So let's save that and head back to Unity. Alright, so the game is played and I'm moving around right now. So you can see that I am moving my camera around, and you can't see the enemy because it is moving towards me. So you can see the square shape below. That is the enemy. So as I move myself, it follows me, as you can see. Everywhere I move, it follows me because I am extremely near it, and it will go everywhere I go. If I try to move to a particular place, it will go to that specific place. Alright, so to begin, we will go to our enemy game object and we will make a new script. So I will go to add components, and I'm going to I will call the script target. Call it target, and then go to new script, then click on create and add. Alright, so we are in Visual Studio and this is our target script. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to remove this start command. I'm going to write a variable right now. So let's do that. I'm going to write public so that we can see it in another code, another script, and then I'm going to call that float, since that's a decimal number, and then health, which I'm going to call this variable, and I'll say that to be equals to 50. Now add an F since it is a float. This is just going to be our health, the health of the enemy, and then I'm going to remove the void update and the void start function. So I'm going to make a function of our own, and I'm going to write there void take damage. I want to feed an argument inside it, which will be a float damage. I'm going to close the brackets and I'm going to open up tags. Alright, so in the function, I'm going to write there health, and I'll make that to be minus equal our damage. So I'm also going to make an if statement now. So I'm going to write if our health is becomes if our health is less than or equals to 0. I'm going to add f since it's float. We want our our enemy to die. So I am going to make a new function. So I'm going to write there void die. Let's open it up. Alright, so before we enter Unity, we need to make this script work. Because if we go back to Unity, nothing will happen. So to do that, I want to access it from our shoot script. So I'm going to write there in the void, I'm going to write public, so that we will not only see it in our we will not only see it in the Unity inspector as usual, but we will also see it through script. Alright, so in our player shoot script, in the shoot function, I'm going to write there our target. So I'm going to call our target script. So I'm going to write the target, which I will call target. And I will set, notice that I use the small letter T because Unity will recognize that there are two calling of the target script. So be careful about the letter that you use. So I'll make that to be equals to hit dot transform, which is where the ray hits. That's just simply it, where the ray hits. And I'll put dot get component. So I'm going to call our script now get component, and then which is going to be the target. So I'll put a bracket on it and then close it with a colon. So still in our function, I'm going to write if the target, the small letter, is not equals to null, we want it to take damage. So I'm going to write the target dot take damage. You see that what we had in the former target script showed there. So I am going to write target dot take damage. So you have to feed something into that argument which we made in the target script. So I'm going to make a new variable which I'm going to call damage, and I'll set that to 10 and add f since they float. And then inside that target dot take damage, I'm going to put the target. I'm sorry, the damage. That's it. So with this, you see that it is so with this you see that we have been able to make our enemy follow our player, and we have also been able to shoot our enemy. So what we want to do now is we are going to use the cube to find out a little bit about our player. So let's start. So to start that, I will go to our script, our enemy movement. Alright, so we are in our enemy movement script, and I'm going to make a new variable here. So I'm going to now write I'm going to add the space, and I'll write there a public material, and I'm going to call that simple material. This is going to be the material of a cube. And also I am going to add there void, a new function. So that will be void, which I'm going to write there on draw gizmos selected. On draw gizmos selected. So inside this, I'm going to write gizmos dot color, and make that to be color dot red. That's simple. And I'm going to stop that with a colon. And what I'm going to do is that we are making a search radius for our player, sorry, for our enemy. So I'm going to make another new variable, which is going to be public float, which is going to be our radius, and I'll set that to be 10. So in this undraw gizmo selected, you must make sure that all of these letters are capital. It must be like that, or else Unity will not recognize it. So then I'm going to write gizmos dot draw wire. There are two W's. Draw wire. Alright, so we are in Unity, and if you go to our enemy, you see that we have a search radius which is very big. So I will reduce that to 5. So in the radius place right here, let me just change that to 5 and save it and head back to Unity. Alright, so what I did is that I changed the radius to 2 because it looks very large. So you see that if I try to move our enemy, that it will follow, the radius will follow it. And so let me just set that back to its normal position by clicking on Ctrl Z. So since we have done that now, and what we are going to do is we want our player to, and we want our enemy to pursue our player any